Hello everybody, welcome back to Read and Reread. I am Angelia and today I'm going to do the Finish the Book tag. This is a tag that is all about your habits when you are done reading a book. How do you keep track? Do you keep stats? Where do you put your books? Etc. And I love to talk about bookish habits like that, and I'd like to watch videos like that, so I thought this would be a fun one to do. Nobody tagged me specifically, but I'm just responding to one of those general, if you've never done this video tags, because I felt like doing the tag. We also don't know who has originated this tag. I've watched several different Finish the Book tag videos, and nobody knows who started this tag. So if you happen to watch this and you are the originator of the tag, thank you for creating it, and let us all know who you are. I guess it's been around for a few years, maybe. I don't know. I'm more of a newbie, so I might have missed it during the first wave, but it's making a comeback. And it's a tag that you can complete without gathering a bunch of books. It's mostly just talking about habits, but I actually have gathered some books because some of the prompts just sort of took me in a certain direction, and I have visual aids. So let us proceed. The first prompt is, do you keep a list of the books that you read? Yes, I do. I keep a reading journal, a physical reading journal. And I wasn't sure. I knew I'd been keeping it for a long time. Like, I knew it was at least more than 20 years because I remember starting it before my daughter was born, who was 21. So I dug through them. I have them all. And I did find the oldest one, which is this one. And it's a really thin little one. But I remember this particular journal was a gift. Somebody made these journals and gave me one as a gift. And the date in this is 2000. It's actually a little like a day planner, but I used it as my first reading journal. I love to pull these old journals out and open them at random and see what I was reading. So the first thing in my very first reading journal is the first book that I talked about was Last Orders by Graham Swift, which I still have my copy. And I do remember liking this book. I think now that I'm looking at it again, it sounds like something I would pick up and want to read today. So maybe I will reread it sometime in the near future. It is about four men who, they get together. They are delivering the ashes of a friend who wants to be scattered out at sea. And so it's about these four men that are together, and they're reflecting on all the different things that have happened over the decades, I believe, if memory serves. So that was, and then the next book I read was Madman and the Professor, which is a nonfiction, unusual for me, but I also still have this book, and I remember liking it so much that I also read the other book the author wrote about the development of the Oxford English Dictionary. I probably have that over on the shelf, but I'm not going to go and get it. I couldn't resist. I went and got it. It's The Meaning of Everything by Simon Winchester. And I loved both of these books because I'm, as we have discussed many times, an irrepressible nerd. All right, so I do keep a journal. And what I do is I write about each book. I have the date. I write about my thoughts on that book. And then what I do next sort of segues into the next question, which is, what stats do you record? I'm not a big stats person. In fact, the word stats gives me mild anxiety because it sounds very close to something mathematical. So I'll tell you what I do, and you can tell me whether or not this is stats. But I do keep track of the books, and then at the end of the year, I have like a year in review in my journal where I write down all the titles in one list. And that helps me as a quick reference if I want to look back and see when I read a certain book, and maybe look and see what I had to say about it. And also, this has to do with the next question. Some of the books receive a star, but I'll explain that in just a minute. So that's when I find out how many I read. I don't have a numerical goal or anything like that. I don't examine my stats month to month or make pie charts or anything like that. I just kind of look at it at the end of the year. So the next question is, do you give star ratings? And the answer is yes, but not the Goodreads or Storygraph kind of star ratings. My star rating is simply you get a star or you don't get a star. And I talked about this in a recent video. When I'm reading the book, if it just was particularly memorable, very good, impactful in some way, I might put a little star by the title in my journal. And then at the end of the year, I can see how many I got. So I took a look at 2022's year in review, and this is the first time that I counted up how many books actually got a star. I knew that I had read 88 books last year because when I wrote out this list, I saw the final number, and it turned out that I gave 31 books a star. I don't know what percentage that is because that would also be math, and I'm not going to do it. But interestingly enough, the first and the last book of the year received stars. I gotta go grab them. The first book that I read in 2022 was Cloud Cuckoo Land, which I loved, definitely in my top 3 of the whole year. And the last book I read in 2022 was The Luminaries, which I also gave a star. What a couple of chunksters too. I bookended my year with 2 long and satisfying novels. That's it as far as stats and stars and record keeping goes. Question 4 is, do you review your books? Yes, I just talked about that a little bit. I review in 2 ways. I review in my journal for myself, and then I review, of course, here on the channel, weekly reads, and other times that I talk about books and tag videos. Sometimes I do a monthly wrap-up and sometimes I don't. I am hit or miss on that. Sometimes I feel like I have covered them sort of completely in the weekly reads and I don't really want to talk about all of them all over again. And other times I feel like I want to make a wrap-up video. So that you might see one and you might not, but I always do a TBR video. Of course, that's not a review, so I'm getting off the topic. But yes, I review them for myself in my journal and on YouTube to share with viewers. Where do you put your finished books? Well, I shelve my finished books here in my library, and I shelve them. If they're fiction, I shelve them alphabetically by author. If they're nonfiction, I don't have as many nonfiction books that I own, but I do shelve them with other things of their topic. So not strictly like on a Dewey Decimal, but if it's you know, about a certain topic or it's a biography or whatever it is, it kind of goes with the other ones like that. I don't know why I said biography because I never read biographies. Once in a while I read a memoir, but I don't read the only biographies I ever read are like the kids ones, like those really nice National Geographic illustrated kind of middle grade ones. Love those. I do not read full-length adult biographies. So you can vehemently disagree with me. And it's like, it's not a policy or anything. I just never am drawn to them. So you can let me know how terribly amiss I am and what biography I should have read, and I will take it under due consideration. So I put them on the shelves. I also have a cart. I'll put a little picture of my cart because it'd be kind of hard to crank the camera down to show it to you. But I have a little cart, and that's more of like a TBR but I do sometimes have finished books on there that I haven't yet talked about for a video, and I don't want to put them away on the shelf if I know I'm going to do a video in a few days and talk about them, so I'll keep them on the cart. So the cart has to-be-reads, just finished, and maybe like something new that I bought that I kind of want to keep it right there in my field of vision a little bit before I shelve it. If I'm not going to read it for a long time and I know that, I'll go ahead and put it away and I'll find it later. But if I think I am maybe going to read it pretty soon, or I want to talk about it or do a haul, I will keep it there on my cart. So those are the 2 places basically. They're either on the cart or on the shelves, or they might be kind of sitting around if I'm actually reading them. How do you pick your next book? Before I started making booktube videos, it was completely mood reading, but my process has changed a little bit because now I'm a little more intentional about thinking about the month that I'm in and different reading challenges that I've decided to participate in, even our year-long challenges. So there's a little more of a strategy. I might have a whole set of books, and some of them relate to that month's goals, and some of them are more just the books I want to read, something I'm excited about, new releases, things I found at the library. I keep my library books in that cart as well, actually. After I consider anything time sensitive strategically that I want to read for the purposes of challenges at hand or book club meetings and things like that, after that I'm a mood reader, and sometimes even then I'm a mood reader. Sometimes I just revolt on the plans and I just read something else. And I have to rotate through moods and lengths and genres quite a lot. So depending on what I just read affects what I choose next. So let's say that I'm completely up to date and there's nothing I have to read of some sort of time pressing nature, and I'm just going to read something that I have on hand that I want to read. So I will grab out my library books and maybe other things from my cart that I have been wanting to get to, and then that's when the mood comes in. So let's say, like right now I'm looking in here, and here's 3 books that I have on my cart that I know I want to read sometime soon. We've got The Night Ship, Signal Fires, and Scatterlings. And I might just sit with these books for a few minutes. I might open them up and read the first page of each one and get a feel of the mood. I might be affected by wanting to read something fast-paced like a mystery, or something lighter in nature, or I'm ready for something deep and dark. And so I will just sort of get a feel of each one and then I'll decide. It's a little bit elaborate because I sort of behave as if that's my only chance and I'm never going to get to read the other books that I didn't pick, which of course is not true. But I don't know, I get hung up on the choice and the mood and what I feel like reading right then. That usually works pretty well for me. Number 7, do you have any rituals when you have finished a book? Well, other than what I already discussed about the journal entry and keeping it on the cart until I'm ready to make the video, my immediate ritual when I finish the book is sort of a family joke. I don't know when I started doing this, but now it's become, I don't think I was even aware at first. I was doing it and my family noticed I was doing it, so now I'm doing it with gusto and emphasis. And what it is that when I get to the end of the book, I close it with great vigor like this. And if you see me when I'm doing it, it's like, oh, that one didn't come out right. We gotta do it again. You know what? Let's pick an even chunkier book. Let's do it like this. I don't know how it started, but everyone could hear that throughout the house, and then they know that I have finished yet another book. So that is my oddball ritual. I think there's one more question. Oh, it's just who do you tag? And I'm going to take the easy way out yet again. And if you have not done this video, please consider doing it. You are tagged because it's really fun. I like these questions. I like hearing what other people have to say. Please let me know in the comments your answers to any of these questions, whether you agree or disagree with me or anything that came to mind while you were watching. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and welcome to all the new people who have subscribed recently. There's been a little burst of activity, which is so fun. So I'm glad you're here, and I hope that you have a great day and that you enjoyed the Finish the Book tag. Bye-bye.